A rainy day. How apt it is. It is a rainy day here in the UK, and we're doing a transfer daily again on That's Football. So you're very, very welcome. Hope you are all doing very, very well. We're going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes, Wan Bissaka, Joao Felix, and a couple of other things as well. And the whole point of this is not to be totally Manchester United centric, but what are all the other clubs doing? I mean, I've had a look around Liverpool, Manchester, City, Arsenal. Obviously, Chelsea got a transfer ban, but it is always Manchester United, isn't it? We may finish sixth in the league, we may be absolutely crap, but we're still always front page when it comes to transfer news. I don't know what the other clubs are up to. Maybe they're happy with what they've got. But let's start off with Bruno Fernandes. I've done a video on Bruno Fernandes this morning on the United stand, so I don't want to repeat anything that's been said there. Obviously, it's looking very likely that Manchester United are going to sign him. So I sort of wanted just to touch on how much of a chance there is of Spurs or Liverpool or even Manchester City stealing in and getting him. And I think, to be honest with you, he is a player that Manchester United desperately need. And I think that's why Manchester United will get him. Ibby's just said that he's overrated. I mean, overrated in relation to what? Overrated in relation to what? In relation to Manchester United midfield, he'd be the best midfielder United have got with Paul Pogba. So how can he be overrated? He's a massive improvement on a crap midfield. For Spurs, he's better than Dele Alli, so he improves that. For Liverpool, I think he would be better than. I think he would get in the first team of Liverpool. Man City, yeah, he'd probably be a bench player there, but they've got a fantastic side. So Bruno Fernandes would enhance, I think, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, who are in for him. I do think Tottenham quite fancy him, and I don't think Liverpool do. I don't think Liverpool do, because I think if Liverpool did, they probably could get him. But at this I suppose at this late stage, it's about whether Tottenham could get him or not, whether he'd fancy a move to Tottenham. I think the financial clout of Manchester United is going to be the key indicator there. Nothing's done till it's done, but the way that transfer is going at the moment is very much a deal for Manchester United to get over the line with. If it was a running race and it's a 100-meter race, I'd say United they're into that last 10 meters and they've got a good 10 meters lead over everybody else. So unless United trip up or slow down and Spurs come bursting through, I do see Bruno Fernandes joining Manchester United. The other Portugal player that's a little bit different is Joao Felix. I cannot get my head around this, and this is where a non-Manchester United element comes into it, I suppose. Manchester City. He's got a release clause of £100 million. Didn't even play for Portugal yesterday in the Nation League's final. He was on the bench, wasn't he? Started on the bench. Very, very talented player, 19 years of age. Benfica are only going to sell if the release clause is paid, and apparently there's a lot of clubs that want to pay that release clause. Atletico Madrid, Juventus have been mentioned, and Man City and Manchester United. So, look, anybody professing to know what Manchester United are up to, I think are liars. There are certain clues out there, but would Manchester United spend £100 million on Joao Felix? I don't think they will, but they certainly could. I think it's more unlikely. I don't think Juventus will do it. I mean, Juventus spending £100 million on a 19-year-old from Benfica just doesn't seem to fit to me. Atletico Madrid is interesting because Atletico Madrid are going to lose Griezmann. We know that Griezmann's going to go. We just don't know where Griezmann's going to, and they do need a sort of a false nine, an inverted winger, a number 10, which is what Griezmann can play all those positions, and so can Joao Felix. So funnily enough, I just think Atletico Madrid might get Joao Felix. For Man City to get him, and I think he perfectly fits Man City. I think he's perfectly the sort of player that Pep Guardiola would want. I mean, Joao Felix, if anyone doesn't know anything about him, he's had a lot of goals, a lot of assists for Benfica, only 19 years of age, has the potential to be something really, really special, and he's already something very special. So he would fit in with the way that Man City and Pep Guardiola play football. My only reservation is that he would cost about £100 million, and Man City would absolutely obliterate their transfer record to bring Joao Felix in. Are they ready to do that? Are Man City ready to do that when they've got people looking at how they're spending money? I mean, they're currently in a bit of trouble, aren't they? So, and their previous transfer record's 60 million. So to go and spend £100 million, I don't know. Maybe that is the plan of Manchester City. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think if I was a guessing man with Joao Felix, um, I'd say Atletico Madrid, but you know what? United could just absolutely shock me and go and get him. I just don't think United are in for him, to be honest. What about Rafa Silva? That boy looks quality. Nobody's talking about him, says Kieran Halford. There's one or two players that are just not being spoken about, like Kieran Tierney from Celtic is a left back of real quality that nobody seems to be looking at the moment. So look, there are a few. But to be honest with you, as I said, if you're not linked to Manchester United, you're nobody, because Manchester United seem to be the only club in the Premier League that it's getting seriously, clocking up thousands and thousands of pages every bloody day with people linking us to everybody. I'm not seeing much from Spurs. I don't know whether that's because there's no certainty on what Pochettino is going to do. I'm not seeing much from Liverpool. I don't know why they're quiet. And I'm not seeing much from, certainly, I think Arsenal have been linked to some Icelandic player, which is probably about their level because Arsenal haven't got any money to spend. Hi, Mark. How would you play with a diamond if we play Fernandez and Pogba as MUFC premium? Bruno Fernandez is definitely a better player when he's played in a more attacking position. So if he came into Spurs, United, Liverpool, that's where you'd want to play him. Pogba's future is very interesting. I think the thing that's going to do I think Pogba will stay at Manchester United? Yes, I do. But I think if Pogba comes out and says he wants to leave Manchester United, it's suddenly going to be a very interesting summer because it's no secret that Real Madrid and Juventus want Pogba. So watch your space on that. With regards to Wan Bissaka, there's a few people talking about him. Let's start taking some of your comments on questions and transfers then. With regards to, Sally Devil Red Sevens just makes a good point as well. She said that there are a few players with very good buyout options, i.e. Diaz, Partey, Ziyech, and they're not expensive options. Thomas Partey, £43 million. Ruben Diaz at Benfica, £60 million. And Ziyech at Ajax, £25 million. So there are talk there. Rashmi Sinar says, Mark, fans are saying that Lozano is not good enough when we have Mata and Lingard. We can't be arrogant with signings anymore, says Rashmi Sinar. Look, I've just said that about Bruno Fernandes. Some people are saying Bruno Fernandes is overrated, but he's infinitely better than anything that Manchester United have got. Talking about Wan Bissaka, it's going to be very United-centric, this deal. He was a player that, again, was linked to Man City earlier in the season, but I don't think when Manchester City are moving for him, even though Manchester City do want a right-back, maybe we should consider that. Jirath Kamath Fitness says, you've got strong shoulders, Mark. I can't hold my phone stable for more than 2 minutes. Years of practice, and now it will start to get a little bit shaky. Are Young, Smalling and Matic be starters next season, says Davey Fisher? I'm sure they'll get plenty of time at Manchester United. I'm sure that's the way it's going to be. But with regards to Wan Bissaka, the only person that's really driving this, I desperately need a haircut. I'm going to go and get one tomorrow morning. That quiff's getting way too big. We're going Rick Astley here, if anyone remembers him. Going very Rick Astley, aren't we? With regards to Wan Bissaka, it's Sky Sports that are driving it. And as I said before, I'm very, very sceptical about anything to do with Sky Sports because they do have Sky Bet. So do they want people to bet on Wan Bissaka? I think the reason, a lot of people say, why are you against Wan Bissaka to United? There's two reasons. One, I don't really think it's worth the money when we need to invest in other areas, United do. And two, I don't actually think people know who Wan Bissaka is as a footballer. I think there's just this cliched, stereotypical thought that he's a quick attacking forward going right back. He's not. He's going forward. He's not that good. Defensively, he's very good. He's a very good defensive right back, but he's not really an attacking right back. So are people just enamored by the fact that he's a young right back and it's not Ashley Young? I don't know. Fair point from Robin Peckett. He says Sky Sports did a lot of reports of Daniel James to United a while ago, and it did happen. And Wan Bissaka thing is getting irritating to me, says Rashmi Sinha. Look, if we do sign Wan Bissaka, if United sign Wan Bissaka, I would be happy because it would mean no more games for Ashley Young. And let's be honest with you, even though we've got Delo, Ollie still was picking Young. So if you get Wan Bissaka, you hopefully see the end of Ashley Young, which is a massive positive. I'd pay £100 million to see that. I'm just skeptical about whether this deal is actually just paper talk or whether there's any truth in it. And also, I'm a little bit concerned that that there's a lot of talk of Manchester United and a right back. When, to be honest with you, right back is the low priority position for me. Centre defensive midfielder, right winger, centre back, and another midfielder are far more important to us than a right back because we need those positions desperately. A little bit of talk about Jan Oblak, leaving Atletico Madrid. I'll say that in a general sense because obviously Manchester United still have De Gea. So talking about a goalkeeper is pointless while we've got De Gea because you're not going to buy a goalkeeper when you've got David De Gea. It's coming from ESPN. The thing I find interesting about this is that Jan Oblak's got a release clause of £103 million. So he can want to leave Atletico Madrid all he wants, but is he going to leave Atletico Madrid? I'm not so sure about that. Would you have Ndidi or Rabiot in a Manchester United team this season? Says Ardos Sunawar. I don't think people know enough about Rabiot. I sort of remember what Rabiot's like when he has been playing, but he hasn't been playing that much, has he? Because he's had his issues with PSG. I like Rabiot. It's hard to say who's the better option, him or Ndidi. I think on paper you'd always go with Rabiot, but the point is Ndidi is a very good player and he's Premier League proven. So Joel Morris says, "Hi Mark, great video. Would you take Ryan Sessegnon at United?" I think Ryan Sessegnon will probably end up at Tottenham. I think Tottenham will get Ndombele, and I think they'll get Sessegnon, which, to be honest with you, are two very good additions to a decent Spurs team. Spurs have got a first 11 that's very competitive, but their bench is just not strong enough. And if they're going to lose Eriksen, then they're going to have to invest in decent players, Tottenham, aren't they? So I think that if they were to get Ryan Sessegnon, he would be a very good addition for Tottenham, who are looking, Danny Rose could leave them, Trippier could leave them. So they do need to invest. I think that for Spurs, it's about whether Pochettino is going to be there or not. Madit Mayok says, "What's going on with Bruno Fernandes, Mark?" Well, United are firm favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes. I think it's abundantly clear that he's going to come to the Premier League from comments he's made. And I think that at the moment, it just appears to be Manchester United moving for him. Now, whether Spurs or even a Liverpool will make a late dash for him or not, we don't know. What I would say about Liverpool is you never know. You never know. Look at that deal with Fabinho. On the Friday night, Fabinho to United was a story in the press. On Sunday night at 8 o'clock, there was links with Liverpool. By 9 o'clock, he'd signed. So Liverpool can do things very, very, very quickly. So that's why I'm always a little bit sceptical with Liverpool when it comes to people like Bruno Fernandes and certainly De Ligt. Who, on De Ligt, anybody interested in De Ligt, he has said last night that he will be taking a couple more weeks to decide on his future. He's going to go on vacation. Typical sort of Mino Raiola approach to milk the cow, everything he can. There was a comment there about Barella that I just want to come back to from 3Hunter. So Nicola Barella, I think his name's Nicola as well. I always get him mixed up with Nicola Pepe, first names wise. You wouldn't get them mixed up as players because one's a right winger, one's a midfielder. Nicola Barella, who plays for Cagliari in Italy. He is a midfielder that's sort of been linked to Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United. Very, very good midfielder. Very, very good midfielder. But I think that he will end up at. I think he's going to end up at an Italian club. I think he's one of those young Italian talents that will end up at staying in Italy, which is what happens quite a lot, to be honest. Rashmi Sinha says, "Mark, I did not watch Portugal versus England. How did Fernandes play? And do you think we will get the best out of Fernandes if Pogba stays?" Well, I think the most relevant game is the most recent game. And Sutasum says that Barella's heading for Inter. It's confirmed, yeah, which pretty much confirms that. Bruno Fernandes, I will talk about the game he played against Holland last night, and I thought he played very well. He had a few speculative shots, which is maybe he could have done a little bit better. But what I like about Bruno Fernandes, and we saw it again last night, is his tenacity and speed on the ball and off the ball. So yeah, I thought he played quite well last night, and I thought Portugal were way better than Holland, and I think England would have got battered if they'd played Portugal. I'm just joining. I'm late. What did I miss? Is Milton Kurt. We're just talking about a few transfers, pal, like Bruno Fernandes. Favourites to come to Manchester United. There's talk that Crystal Palace have rejected a bid for Wan Bissaka for 40 million. That's sort of floating around today. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I think you could say anything, couldn't you? Goalbridge Sports, Manchester United have bid £85 million for Koulibaly, and Napoli have rejected it, and they're considering going in with another offer. I mean, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Mark, you timed me out when I said James was announced. Yeah, sorry if it was you. Sorry for that. You're back now, though, aren't you? What are your thoughts on Arsenal being after Mounier? Says Sri Teja Vadaram. I think that if Manchester United sign Wan Bissaka, then there's a very, very good possibility that Meunier would go to Arsenal. I think Meunier is a good signing. No, the vast majority of Arsenal fans and the vast majority of Manchester United fans don't seem to want Thomas Meunier. I'd be very happy with Thomas Meunier because I do believe that Delot can be Manchester United's long-term right-back option. We've also got a couple of young lads, Ethan Laird, who's a very good right-back as well in the youth setup, and Thomas Meunier would be an experienced right-back option for a couple of years. And you'd get him for about 20, 25 million, which United have got bigger fish to fry. We've got a lot of other positions that we need to focus on. So I would be happy with Thomas Meunier. My concern with Wan Bissaka is £60 million on a right back. That's a large proportion of our transfer budget on a player that, yeah, we do need a right back, but do we need to spend big on a right back? We need a bloody centre back. We need a centre midfielder. We need a we need a right winger. I'm not playing FIFA today. I nearly did, but I'm not going to. I'm going to play tomorrow instead. So I thought I'd just do a transfer show. What are your thoughts about Chiesa at Fiorentina for the right forward position? Says Alan Callia. I thought Chiesa was going to Juventus last week, was the last I heard on that. So he's a good player. I've not really heard of him being linked to Manchester United at all. I mean, look, there's so many players. There's people like Ziyech at Ajax. There is so many players out there. And I think the interesting thing is when you look at the big clubs, it's the players they want to move on. Like Juventus clearly want to make a couple of big signings, but they can't do it without moving people like Douglas Costa, Dybala, Cancelo on. Manchester United may need to move De Gea and Pogba on reluctantly, so that they're not easy to do either. So their thoughts on Ivan Perisic and Lukaku swap deal, said Ardus Sunawa, snubbed by Manchester United. Well, again, there you've got another team, Inter Milan. I think they want to buy players, but you've got to sell players first. And United are probably in that position as well. Rashmi Senior says, if we buy a left-back and don't buy a centre-back and right-back, Mark, I don't think United are in for a left-back. I'd be very surprised if we sign a left-back. I think a right-back we're definitely in. I would take Harry Maguire at Manchester United. Mark said... I'm not going to say that. I ain't going to say that. Do I rate Eric Bailly? I think Eric Bailly is an interesting one because, and that's a question from Lance Williams. I do rate Eric Bailly, and it interests me that he's being chased. Well, he's being linked with the likes of Arsenal and Spurs because I think what they see in Eric Bailly is probably what a lot of United fans see in him. That there is real potential there for him, but he doesn't seem to be fancied by the United coaches because he never seems to get into the team with any consistency. He's a very reckless player with his body. Very reckless player with his body. Reece Gregory, sort out the spine first. We need a new striker, CDM, and centre back. I'm not convinced we're going to sign a striker, Reece, to be honest with you. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. I noticed we're very close to 75,000 subscribers, which would be great for this channel. So please do subscribe to this channel. Going to do a lot more of these just laid back, interactive transfer shows. Definitely want to talk about non-Manchester United stuff as well. I just don't think there's a lot of stuff out there at the moment. And I think the reason for that is Arsenal haven't got any money. Chelsea are in a transfer van. They're in a van. They're in a transfer van. They're in a They may as well be. They've got a transfer ban. Yeah, but Chelsea are locked in a Ford Transit van, which says transfer ban on it, and they're locked in. They can't get out, so they can't do any business. So that's Chelsea and Arsenal. Spurs are notoriously quiet in transfer windows, and so they're quiet. Liverpool, again, I think they're just enjoying the fact they've won the Champions League because they're a bit quiet at the moment. I expect them to do some business. And Man City are a bit quiet as well. Having said that, everybody's quiet. No Premier League clubs doing transfer business at the moment. So maybe it's all going to kick off very soon. But yeah, I think everybody's a bit quiet. But it's always about Manchester United, isn't it? So yeah, that's why we're talking about that. What's the deal with Thomas Partey? Says Avik Saiful. £43 million release clause. Is he angling for a new contract at Atletico Madrid? Or is he genuinely looking for a move? We'll find out, I suppose. I mean, I'd take him at Manchester United. I'm only playing with my hair because it's only when you look at yourself on a live stream that you realise just how desperate it is for a haircut. And a shave as well. Adam Hall goes to Tootle School in Bingham. That's where I used to go. Shout out there. There's a statue of me outside in my dreams. What's your thoughts on FIFA 20, says Tarala JT. Haven't played it yet. Any updates on Rabiot, says Daps. There will be no updates on... There will be no... She was only 16 years old. there will be no updates on Adrian Rabiot till July the 1st. I keep telling you it. I keep telling you this because his contract doesn't end till then. That's why Ander Herrera's not said anything about where he's going, because we know he's going to PSG. He's confirmed he's leaving Manchester United, but he can't announce where he's going till July the 1st. So that's what happened with Adrian Rabiot as well. We must improve our bid for Wan Bissaka, says Wakta von Hornevogel Country. I'm a United fan forever. Prefer Meunier over Wan Bissaka, as there is good scope for Delo to improve, says Teja. And I am still watching Love Island, Ben. I am. It's not something I really want to admit, but I am still watching it. It becomes mildly addictive, doesn't it? Carrasco will definitely move somewhere, Jack Davey. He's desperate to get out of China. He is a right winger. And whilst United haven't bought a right winger, he's always an option. Carrasco's a good player. I just think he disappointed me. As you know, he's a little bit mercenary to go to China when you're in your mid-20s. But you know what? He's still a good player. He's still a good player. There is an 8 p.m. show tonight on the United Stand, 100%. There always is. Gomez, Fosu Mensah, and Twansibi can all play in English Cups and Europa League. No need to loan them out. That'll be plenty of games for them to play, says Davy Fisher. I don't think it's plenty of games for Twansibi. He played nearly every game in the Championship last season. Well, he didn't. He got injured. But I don't think Twansibi should have to put up with a handful of Europa League and Carabao Cup games. I think he needs to play 30 to 40 Premier League games. So, no, I think Twansibi needs to go on loan. I think Gomez needs to go on loan as well. Yeah, I do. How's your day been, Mark? Said somebody. Pat Yord. I'm tired today. I am tired today. I think Tuesday's going to be my Monday where I'm a little bit more motivated, because I've been busy today, but I felt a little bit tired all day. I went down Starbucks and I had a coffee and I had a bit of carrot cake, but I've been lethargic all day. So yeah, just a bit of a slow start to the week, really, if I'm honest with you. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video if you like these transfer chats. I certainly do. We will be back playing a bit of FIFA tomorrow at 1:30, but I am enjoying the transfer chat, so make sure you drop a like. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, everybody. I'd love to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I think it would be pure banter, because I think it's a real sort of cult channel, this. We do watch-alongs for non-United games, do a bit of FIFA, a bit of laid-back transfer and football chat every now and again. I think it's got legs, this channel. I think it's one of the best kept secrets on YouTube football. So make sure you subscribe, smash a like. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for all the interaction. And yeah,